Jack Osbourne's daughter tells Grandpa Ozzy to get away from her, it's really funny. Special Forces, World's Toughest Test contestant reveals his daughter gets shy around people including legendary rocker Ozzy Osbourne. Jack Osbourne's 16-month-old daughter does not always welcome her grandfather, Ozzy Osbourne, with open arms. In an interview with SSN 24 Digital, Osbourne, who was a contestant on Fox Special Forces, World's Toughest Test, revealed that his daughter, Maple, told Ozzy to get away from her during a recent interaction. Anytime a song comes on, she wants to hear his music, Jack said of his daughter. She's like, Papa, Papa. Constantly, and then I'll be on FaceTime with my mom, and she'll go, Papa, Papa, like wanting to see him, and she'll FaceTime with him, and then she's like, hi, and doesn't say anything. Jack explained that things change for Maple when she sees the legendary rocker in the flesh. When she sees him in real life, she'll point across the room like, Papa, Papa, and so I'll bring her over, and then she's just like, no, no, get away from me. Get away from me. It's really funny, Osbourne concluded. Jack says Ozzy is always saying hi and trying to get Maple to come over to him, but because of her age, she is really shy around certain people. The Osbournes, Alum shares daughters Andy Rose, 7, Minnie Theodora, 5, and Maple Artemis, 1, with his wife, Ari Gearhart. He is also father to daughter Pearl, 11, who he shares with ex-wife Lisa Stelly. As for himself, Osbourne recently competed on Fox Special Forces, World Toughest Test, before experiencing a health scare that required him to withdraw from the show. In the show's second season, celebrities come together and undergo vigorous, military-style training. Unlike other competition shows, contestants are not voted off based on their performances, stars only leave voluntarily or due to injuries. For Jack, it was the latter. When we started the show, you can't bring any personal items in, but I left my Garmin smartwatch on, and they never confiscated it, Osbourne began. They couldn't see it. We were always covered up in jackets or gloves, so you couldn't see it. So, I kind of snuck it in and was like keeping it on like the DL, down low, and it isn't just a watch, but it tracks your heart rate, your oxygen, how many steps are taken. I ended up just kind of having it on me, and about 2 days before I went to the doctor, we were all laying around and everyone was kind of sleeping or whatever, and I checked my watch and my heart rate was like a 100, my resting heart rate. He continued, I'm like, that's weird. I was like, I'm just a little anxious, kind of fried and just on edge, and then the next day, same thing, wasn't dipping below 100. Maybe the lowest I saw it was in the kind of low 90s, and then my watch sent me an alert, and it was like, hey, your heart rate's abnormally high. I guess it's some kind of mechanism within it because my resting heart rate, when I sleep, my heart rate goes down to like high 40s, low 50s kind of thing. Osbourne explained that he made his extremely high heart rate known to the staff on the show. I go to the doc, and there's limited resources for them to kind of monitor us in the field, and they were like, listen, given the fact of your medical history, you can't stay, the fact that your heart rate's not dipping and not going to kind of a normal range, Osbourne said. Knowing that my normal range is a very low beats per minute kind of situation, they just pulled me out, which sucks. If I didn't have that F-King watch, I imagine I wouldn't have known. After being forced to leave the show, Osbourne went home and visited his cardiologist and was on a heart monitor for 2 weeks to make sure his heart rate returned to a normal level. He said that his heart rate came back down after a few days. Osbourne noted that one of his closest friends is a Green Beret and a medic and didn't immediately believe Jack left due to a medical disqualification. He called me the other day because he's been watching the show, and he's like, hey, F. Kerr. Did you lie to me about you getting medically dropped? And I'm like, no, he thought I made it up. Jack explained that competing on the show was an incredibly tough time but noted that it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Osbourne said the show felt like an endurance event. I've always had a huge amount of respect for the military and the men and women who go through it, he began. But it's funny. It doesn't feel like military when you're there, and the reason being is it feels more like an endurance event because that's really what it is. Osbourne said the training was intense with kind of little drips and drabs of the military, and that he has a large amount of respect for the staff agents and everyone still competing on Special Forces.